1975, my line name was Freeze. And in 2005, when I was elected, I became the 32nd president. Now, what degree does water freeze at? It wasn't my doing. I became a Sigma April 12th, 75. I was elected July 15th, 05. 30 years, 3 months, 3 days. Now, I'm a numbers guy, and I say, when you start putting these type of things together, it makes you wonder what's going on, right? And I'm not I believe, obviously I'm a believer in God Almighty, but you just don't know what you're destined to do. And I just ask God to always allow me to follow the plan that He set for my life. I ask for that's how I pray. Ask for guidance, and when those troubles come forth as they always do, you just I'll ask God to allow those to be stepping stones to move hard toward that goal. But I created the Centennial Planning Committee during my presidency. I was elected president in 05 through 09. But in 07 in Miami, I created the committee to start the planning for our Centennial because I wanted it to be great, grand. And it was. For those of you who have seen, I don't know if you've seen much of pictures or photographs or conversations, but that was a long process of planning. All the other D9 organizations, and I attended all of their centennials. I shouldn't say all. I was in Alphas, AKAs, Kappas. Well, you know what hours, obviously, and you know what happened with Zeta COVID hit, but they did have a celebration in January of that 20, but they didn't do 20 for summer 20 because of COVID. And of course, I went because I was invited to all of them. The Sigma Gamma Rho in 22 didn't make it, and I wasn't invited to the Omegas. However, I happened to be in DC while the Omegas were celebrating their centennial in 11, so I stuck my foot in the hotel where they were to say I was there. So the experience that we planned was just truly amazing. I appointed 3 past presidents to start the planning. The numbers, though, were 3, was what my thinking was. We planned it to be a party. We did not want to have a meeting. And they were members of the board, the general board, telling me that, oh, you got us meeting back to back 3 years in a row. Because we have our conclave in 13, because we meet every other year, right? The Centennial in 14, and then the conclave in 15. I said, don't worry about that, brothers. We can do it. The brothers will come. And they came. We had a beautiful time.
Yes, we did.
It was planned to not have not one meeting. It was all about having a celebration of our fraternity's 100 years. And many of the Greeks that I run across, they have shared with me that, that our Centennial, you guys, y'all did a great job, because again, it was all about the party. The fellowship amongst the Brotherhood was tremendous, and we had no meetings, no politics to be worried about. It was about having no voting going on, just having a good time, and that truly meant a lot to the brothers. We are still, in my opinion, getting that Centennial bounce because our membership is constantly moving forward by growing. And all of us, all the D9 members, because of the lack of black men going to school, women dominate schools right now as far as college age, and about 20% of the black men are attending. So, and all of us competing for that little small piece of the pie makes it difficult. Most of the growth is going to be through our alumni membership. So alumni chapters are the entities that really have to pick up what they're doing to grow and make sure that Phi Beta Sigma continues. Until we could find ways to come up with different strategies to get more of our younger college age brothers involved in our august body of men called Phi Beta Sigma.
In your experience, what could you give us as far as now recruiting brothers or techniques, tools, or things you may have seen work to help us, along with our younger brothers as well, to say, hey, everybody's a recruiter. So what would you say, give us?
Yeah, recruiting is critical. You have to talk to people. Everybody that during my time as a collegiate, during my days of actual recruiting, I would hold in the dormitory, I would grab a little old chalkboard, Phi Beta Sigma. They don't do this now, but Phi Beta Sigma, come talk to me. I was sit like I'm sitting here, I would sit there and the guys would just kind of trickle in and just tell them about the fraternity. I was a man of one, doing my recruiting because it was something that I just wanted the person to do. But obviously we had the official recruiting out, we call them smokers back then. But between the time there were smokers going on, I would do my own little thing to kind of spark some interest while I was a member, while I was residing in the dormitories for the most part. So, but I think recruiting strategies is all about you. You have to be approachable, to not be afraid to talk to anyone and ask them, do they have interest in joining a fraternity? And if they say yes, that's the opportunity to share more about what Phi Beta Sigma is. It gives me great pleasure to talk with prospective members about what our fraternity is all about.
I remember when you were running for office, and you had your book company.
Yeah.
What do you think we could do as an organization, being that you mentioned the numbers about the lack of Black men participating in college?
Right.
We have a great Sigma Beta club here at TDS, and also with Brother Sean being Director of Education, we also have a strong presence in various schools in the KSD area. What do you think we could do at the low level to encourage these young men to go to college, to get those numbers up?
Our Sigma Beta Club is the best vehicle we have to instill in young boys and young men to attend college. Beta Club starts 7, 8 years old all the way up to 17, 18. That vehicle is the main way that we should seek ways to get them involved in college. Coming here, I wanted to bring my 10-year-old grandson to attend this conclave, but was told that the Beta Club would not be present. My wife and my 10-year-old grandson were going to be attending, and when I found out that the Beta Club would not be here, I said, well, there's no sense in me bringing my 10-year-old grandson if that's not going on, because it'd be kind of difficult for him to engage in activities, because 10-year-olds, that's like. But so my wife said, well, I guess I'll pass on this one too, because she's been in many conclaves over the years. But the Sigma Beta Club is the best vehicle we have. Founded in 1950, still going strong today. And matter of fact, there are people here who have Beta Club members that have done big things. And the brothers from Detroit, if you run into any brother from Detroit, ask them about their Sigma Beta Club and the boys that have become professors or doctors or just doing big things right now. I think they'd be able to share some great stories with you. But there are probably stories all around the country about that same thing. But I just left Detroit and they shared that with me while I was there, so I know that's going on. Yeah. So that would be my response there. Generally speaking, without getting involved in an entity that's dealing directly with the fraternity, anytime if you're on a college campus, we should sign up to hold events to speak and talk about the value of going to college to young men, because a lot of high schools have opportunities for us to do that. Many brothers who are high school principals, they are a great source to reach out to see about getting some activities going on campus of that high school, and even though who might be middle school principals as well. They don't have to be a Sigma, but if you know a middle school or high school principal, period, just reach out to them to let them know that you would love to have some activity to stress the importance of why they should attend college. As you know, the number one factor of why kids don't go to college is finance. So if you're going to do that, you're going to make sure you have some scholarship opportunities for either through your chapter or through other means of just working with companies or other entities that want to support kids going to school.
Sir, in your 50 years of being a Sigma man, what is one of the biggest changes you've seen throughout your
Biggest
decade?
changes,
Good, bad, or otherwise?
yeah, from a good perspective, obviously you always want to start with that. The biggest change has been, I would say, our mentality. Hazing has been a part of all fraternities for such a long time. And in the 90s, when that big lawsuit occurred, it caused the entire D9 to rethink how we bring in members of our organizations. And now, of just last year, that major situation that occurred at Southern University have everyone thinking again if there should be another shift in that. But that's been the biggest change, our mindset and attitudes toward hazing. It's zero tolerance. We kick members out of the fraternity if they haze. And you heard, if you were in a session, I guess it was this morning.
This morning.
Yes, that was stated by, I think, past President Womack. Yeah. So it's totally unacceptable. Those days are over with. Much is going on in the world today. The last thing a black man needs to do is to beat on one. We have too many other problems beating us up with our families. We sure don't need to be beating on ourselves. So I wasn't hazed at all when I pledged. I didn't do it at the time, but I had 2 past national presidents on campus though. So I had no clue that, I was pledging a fraternity and a chapter where there were 2 past national presidents in the administration within the university at Texas Southern University in Houston. So, obviously that meant a lot, because I don't think anybody's going to haze the 2 past presidents on the campus, right? No. So that's the biggest change I think that has had for the better. On the other side, I'm going to have to say the same thing, hazing, because all it takes is one incident can destroy our fraternity, or any fraternity, or any sorority. So hazing is still a critical piece of what's, in the mindset of some people. And many times there's those who haven't been around in a long time thinking it's, the same way as it was when they, possibly became members. But it's over with. That's done. And it's up to us to share that with them if they come around. If they're not involved and certified by the membership intake process, they have zero to do with being involved to making new members. It's our finances. I mean, back in the day, I ran the campaign for the Honorable Peter Adams, the 30th International President. I was chair of his campaign. Uh, the lawsuit back in the 90s, where we lost all that money from that hazing, as you heard was said this morning, we lost $650,000 we had to pay. And we didn't have insurance back then. We were self-insured. So we had to mortgage the building to get the money to pay the family. And so in '97, when Peter was elected, he asked me what I wanted to do to get me an appointment. I said, we have no choice. We have to raise money. And I created a capital campaign called SOAR, Sigma's Obligating Available Resources. We immediately went on a national tour to raise money to pay off that balloon note that was created from the lawsuit. We weren't told that a balloon, it was a 5-year note. We wasn't told that a balloon note was created and it was coming due. So when Peter got elected, found out the note was coming due the next year, we had to go into high gear to raise money. And out of my own back pocket, I traveled the country, going to board meetings and regions and getting the Brotherhood, and we raised enough money to give to Industrial Bank to refinance. During my presidency, I paid off the mortgage, so we owned the fraternity house free and clear during my presidency. I don't know if any of you were aware of that or heard about that, but we had a mortgage burning ceremony at the headquarters back then, and one brother said, why are we spending all this money paying off a mortgage? I said, because we have it. I said, why pay a mortgage and interest when you can just write the check and be done with it? That's money. We was paying $10,000 a month for a mortgage back then. So, we took care of that. And now what we're embarking on now with our new building is truly amazing. I wasn't the president appointed me to serve on the committee. And I gave the idea of having a complex like this. I said, we need to find a billionaire out there, build it's sort of different from the way they're doing it now, but still the basic idea is there. Make, I was saying luxury condominiums. I didn't want to go the government route with affordable housing. My idea was just to do it through luxury condominiums, and then have our headquarters at the somewhere in the building. And as you know, time goes on and people change about how they think it should go. There's some don't think we should have the headquarters there now because we decided to go to affordable housing route, and we'll see how all that comes about. But I created that idea and gave it to the team, and they moved on it. And that's what we're still moving toward it right now. So I guess we'll hear more about that during this conclave. But it's truly a remarkable opportunity to do something for the community. Now, whether we take the space and build our headquarters in it or make it retail space for other, types of businesses, all that should be decided. But I think when you're dealing with the government, because we did go the government route through tax exempt, whatever they're doing, there's strict requirements that you got to abide by. So I don't know what those are, and we'll just have to wait and see what comes forward.
You crossed in 1975.
Yeah.
That was a semi-polarizing time because you're 7 years removed from Dr. King's assassination.
Right.
Contel pro going on with the Black Panther Party, plus the end of the hippie movement. What was campus life like in going through the process of becoming a Sigma? How did that kind of form your strategic plan as a chapter?
Yeah, you said Dr. King? Well, when I was on campus during the time, the big thing was the Iranian hostage situation. We had a lot of our Iranian students at Texas Southern University. Boy, they were protesting every other day, it seemed like. So that was the big thing that I recall on campus. as far as the civil rights of '60s movement, 75, 60s, it wasn't too far away. Now I get your point. But from that perspective, we didn't have any major issues with that, because that Iranian crisis just kind of took over and was the big deal on campus. We had a lot of foreign students, a lot of Nigerians. Matter of fact, many of them became Sigmas because of, we have two past presidents of African countries that are members of Phi Beta Sigma. Back in Africa, in those countries, they are aware of that, and many of them seek to become members of Phi Beta Sigma. But that was a big deal. We didn't have any racial issues at all leading into the 70s from the late 1960s that impacted me while I was on campus. So that was a major thing that was going on at the time that caused a lot of disruption, I would say.
The time you joined to became president, could you talk on like if a brother is trying to go from a chapter to state to region, or what led you to get to that point, throughout your state?
Yeah, that's very important question there, a statement about that. I've served in every capacity in the fraternity other than treasury. I don't deal with people's money. I deal with my own money. But, I was a local chapter. Well, I was a local chapter officer. Then I became president of my undergraduate. I served in education. The program, I did secretary at the graduate level and became graduate chapter president, alumni chapter president, whatever term you want to use in the era you are involved with. And then at the regional level, I served as program director, secretary, first vice, and then regional director. At the national level, the only national office I was elected to was national president. Now, I ran for vice president and lost. I ran for president once and lost. Then third time was the charm. But I did not serve the fraternity in an elected position. But I was truly involved in 3 presidents' administrations. I got national appointments from 3 presidents. Jim Floyd, number 25, and number 28, Bill Stanley, and Peter Adams, number 30. So I got national appointments. I mentioned earlier, with Peter Adams, number 30, I was I chaired that capital campaign, SOAR, and under 25, that was Jim Floyd. We at the time, there was a national assault on illiteracy program that was created that all the D9 organizations were involved with. And I was the inter-organizational liaison for that national movement to stop adult illiteracy, because that was critical. The Black newspapers got together to decide if they're going to have people to continuously buy their product, they have to be able to read. As you know, the problem with adult illiteracy happens kids in grade school. You don't become illiterate as an adult, you become illiterate as a child. And that problem still exists today. That was my involvement at those levels from those 3 presidents, 30, 28, and 25. Now 28, he gave me the role of, I was secretary to the general board while I was serving as regional director, because the fraternity has gone through a growing pain, with a lot of, some call it the blue and white team, and, so we were sort of, I guess, kind of polarized back then, and different sides, political sides, but I believe iron sharpens iron. And a good challenge is good sometimes because it creates the best. Competition creates the best. I've been in sales my entire life, and if I didn't have competition, I don't think my product or my service would be best it could be. Competition creates for good things to happen. You know, you want to be able to serve your customer in the best way possible, and competition helps create that. So that's those were my experiences. But you know, I served on a regional board 12 consecutive years. I was a program director. I was secretary, first vice, and then regional director. And each of those, that's 4 years, 12 years. So, you know, learning is critically important. Look, now everybody wants to just become the president straight from day one. You don't have a chance to learn what was going on. And that's pretty critical. But, you know, at the national level, I didn't serve in any program directors. I was not vice president, but I did great as president because that's what people tell me, and that's what the history says. So they are outliers. They are outliers, depending upon what's going on. But your passion and your love for the organization creates those great things. And when you surround yourself with good, quality, working brothers who are wanting to engage and do good service, it truly makes a big difference. So that's really what makes it work for me. And I encourage you to serve in as many capacities as you can where you can learn what's going on. Because what I have seen occur, even within the Gulf Coast region, some members not having the opportunity to serve, to learn, they make mistakes. And it's best to make mistakes on the lower levels because the negative implications are small. When you make mistakes at the higher level, it magnifies the problem because you're impacting a lot more people. So if you're going to make mistakes, make them down here. And I watched presidents. I learned what to do and I learned what not to do by watching and learning from their mistakes, their failures, their successes. And you make mental notes as you grow up to help you decide how to make those good quality decisions when you're in the seat. Now, all of us make mistakes, you know. I've made my fair share, but you learn from them and you keep it moving. When you're trying to make them, you're down at the lower level in order to minimize that negative impact.
So I heard this being your grandson that's 10 years old, and not hearing everybody in the college. So with the single beta, I want to be aware, like, with the transportation portion, there's a lot of parents who have multiple kids. But with single beta club, the parents aren't going to take them to their events.
Right.
So that's a hindrance for some kids because now they can't participate.
Right.
Because sister may go have something else, so they ain't got single beta club. Like, what is your outlook on, you know, weed buys and the transportation portion for the single beta club?
Yeah, we're going to have to have some sessions on strategies to handle those kinds of problems, because the solutions are going to be it's going to bring about how we can impact change. If we don't talk about these type strategies to solve that kind of problem, the beta club won't grow, and that's not what our intent is. We want it to grow, so we have to find ways to do things to solve the problems that we have. That sounds like a big one and should be up for discussion regarding transportation, because you're right. A family, they have several kids, and you know they got to do something with the kids, right? I mean, they can't leave one home and go deal with another one, so we have to find ways to work around that. So I don't know who the National Beta Club director is right now, but I'm going to find out what's being done at the national level. Are they talking about that? Have you pushed that problem up yet?
I've been talking with the regional, and it's still in limbo. Everybody go back to the incident that happened in Louisiana.
Oh yeah, that's critical. That incident in New Orleans was truly unfortunate. You talk about something that could have taken us out. Right. That could have been a major lawsuit, but we got through it, thank God. And there are many who advocate that the Beta Club just should be separate from the fraternity, period, because of the problems that can arise and cause us major concerns. But all the D9 fraternities have male groups, so all of us have those concerns. And that problem you mentioned probably exists in others as well. So one way we can find out, talk to your friends in the other groups to see how they handle it, But we should talk about it internally first, And I think you should push all the problems up to the national level so they will know that they exist. Because, the rubber meets the road down at the local chapter. Right. And at the region is not implementing the Sigma Beta Club. The implementation occurs at the local level. So that's where you will learn all the things that are causing us not to succeed. So, but you got to push those problems up so we can solve them at that level, and they can bring forth solutions that impact everybody, rather than just saving your one Sigma Beta Club with that problem. You want to, because many have that same problem.
Yes.
And we have to look at it that way. We have to find ways to talk at the national level, because every problem we have, I can assure you, is going on somewhere else too.
Exactly.
And when you don't push them up, it just stays there. So you want to push it up.
As you mentioned earlier, as you were going through the ranks of Sigma, how did you decide, where did you want to go? Where do you want to go next? Was it based on, what was needed for the chapter you were in, or what was needed for the region, or how did you pick your next
As I
position?
became a Sigma 75, my first elected position was chaplain. I don't know if y'all do we still have chaplains?
Yes.
Well, I was elected chaplain of Theta Delta chapter. That was my first office. Then I became Dean of Pledgees. Then I became president of Beta Delta. And I shared with you, education program director at the graduate level, and secretary at the graduate level. Graduate level, alumni level. And then alumni chapter president. And the region is kind of the same. I just followed the same process. I, got involved at the level where the rubber meets the road. That's through our programs. Got involved with the administration through the secretary's role. That's where you learn what's really going on. Then vice director, and then director. So, I just ran for those roles and wanted to learn. For me, it was all about learning, because if you don't learn what to do, you can't be as effective. But the good Lord saw different from me at the national level. I tried running twice. He said no, but he gave it to me on the third try and became international president. But those experiences, as I indicated earlier, with those three past presidents, allowed me the opportunity to still engage the fraternity and learn by watching others. I watched three presidents closely because I was in the administration, but there were others who served that I watched as well. Just because I didn't work in the administration did not mean I didn't learn and watch from them. I watched and learned from them because I wanted to learn as much as possible. And modeling makes a big difference. We have to model. You can accept what's being done or not. And from my perspective, having those models to watch, to learn what to do and not to do, as I stated earlier, makes a tremendously big difference in how you go about your work. So leadership is critical. And I became a student of leadership. I have a huge leadership book library at home. I read everything I can about leadership. And I'll show you some pictures, of my library. And my daughter tells me she had a dream not long ago. She said, "Dad, I dreamed you wrote a book on leadership, and boy, it was a bestseller." She said you need to write it. But people have encouraged me to do that for a while now, and maybe one day I'll write a book.
That's one thing with being a Sigma.
Yeah,
But then there's another thing with being a good Sigma.
right.
What do you think is the qualities of being a good Sigma?
Yeah, good Sigma. Number one, you have to be financial by paying your dues. You have to abide by the rules and regulations of the organization. Obviously, that means you don't touch anybody, no hazing, and you be active as much as possible at the local, state, regional, and national level. There are some Sigmas who, for the most part, do local stuff, and they may only go to a state meeting. And there's some that do local and maybe only do a regional. There's some that might just be strong locally and maybe every once in a while go to a conclave. But you learn about the organization the more you're involved at all levels. It does require time and money, however, but like we make decisions, we can be selective in how we apply that. You don't have to go to every regional, you don't have to go to every conclave, but since conclave only happens twice, once every 2 years. I mean, hey, you can plan for that. I believe that we really should reconsider what we're doing at the regional and state level because we created state meetings back in the day when we didn't have the internet. But now we can do meetings virtually to get some of the same training areas accomplished. And that will save time and money as well, because since we didn't have the internet back then, the only way to meet was to have a meeting, locally, to have a meeting at the state level, to have a meeting at the regional. We still meet every year in our region, but we call it a leadership, but still it requires money, but some regions only meet once every 2 years at the regional level. They meet off conclave years for their regional, and then conclave years they don't have a meeting. So that's something the Gulf Coast has to take upon itself to determine how it wants to govern the number of meetings we want to have a year. Right now, Constitution says we have one. A leadership, I think it says, but the leadership is no business. You don't vote on nothing, because it's just a training, a leadership training.
When it comes to running for office, and in reference to your own presidency, that I remember that you were in fact an outlier because you had not served in the national office.
Right. Wasn't elected to national office.
Right. I'm saying you weren't. I'm saying you weren't elected to a national office. I'm sorry. Did I say serve?
Yeah, you said serve.
My apologies.
Yeah.
You weren't elected to a national office before you ran. What are your thoughts on an outlier not being elected to any position other than at the local level before they run for national office? Because they could very well be extremely talented,
right,
and take the fraternity to unforeseen heights.
Right. Oh, I totally agree. And just because you were elected and served in office doesn't mean you're gonna be good either.
Right.
So I know some that I wouldn't go. So, but it's all about what you do with what you have. And again, I'm a perfect example of that. Poor Brother Womack, he was never vice president, but he served as director of education at the national level. But I think most of the other officers may have kind of done other stuff. But it's all about your engagement with the Brotherhood too, and what they see in you. Right. Because brothers, we sense, we feel how you might be. And I was told tonight that Brother King took his brother, I want you to know you're the only president. He said only president that's approachable. I kind of took that a little hard. Man, what do you mean? You mean none of the other presidents are approachable? But I didn't say that to him. I just listened to what he said. I said, wow. But I've always been a very jovial kind of fella. I try to shake everybody's hand. I really do.
There's some
That's
validity to that,
intentional.
Brother President.
Huh?
There's some validity to that, Brother President. There is some validity to that too.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes, sir.
is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir. I can name names, but it's not necessary.
Right.
No,
Yeah, we're not doing that. But I'm just saying, yeah,
Calm down.
no, but there's a lot of validity to that.
Yeah.
That a lot of past presidents are not brotherhood friendly.
Wow.
They just
Yeah, I try to shake everybody's hand. I want to have conversations.
Yes, sir.
I try to provide uplifting comments to, because a past president told me in 1988, I was Dick Ballard. He was number 22. Told me I was going to be national president one day. Now this is 1988. I remember saying, what's he smoking? I was chairing the Sigma Zeta Leadership Conference in 1988 in Houston, Texas, and he shared that with me. Now, I didn't know it then, but now I tell young collegiates that you can be president one day. That's an inspirational thing to say. And because you don't forget that when the president tells you that, and I've told many, young collegiates that, and I bet they're active as hell. I bet they still involved in the fraternity, But the way that you truly make a difference, I believe, is to have a passion to want to see the fraternity succeed, and the way that happens is through each and every one of you. We have to do it. And when you're a leader, you have to instill in others to do those kinds of things, to pass it on.
But to Brother Butt's point, I think it's good for us to, I've seen you in St. Marcos, state conference, regional conference.
Always the same.
And you're always the same.
Oh, really?
I mean, I got pictures with you at all of these different conferences. I probably pull them all up to show you. And that goes to show you what he's saying, I think. How you're always shaking hands. You just, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. You just hold a conversation. Even when you had all that white on, looking all nice.
Oh, yeah.
You stopped.
Right.
And you took a picture with the Brotherhood. And sometimes you probably don't even think about it. But to us, it made a difference.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because you paused for that moment.
Right.
You even talked with us. You went around the table. Even today at the light member lunch.
Oh, really?
You came to my table again.
Oh, really?
You just shook. Hey, you know chapter. You part of
Oh,
you
yeah.
make sure.
I remember that. That was you?
I was over there. But those small things that you're constantly, it's almost like you are running for something, but we know you're
I ain't
not.
running for nothing.
Right?
That's
But my point is what I'm trying to make is you're not even running for anything.
Right.
You're just being you.
Right.
And I think that's what,
Oh,
at least I see
Yes.
when I meet you every conclave,
Right.
every state,
Okay.
every Gulf Coast,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh,
And that's why I'll say I appreciate you
Oh, yeah.
for just being you and genuine all the time.
Yeah, I'm on, because I know the Brotherhood, we're getting larger, and many don't have the opportunity to interact with a past president. So I try to do it as much as possible. I mean, I gotta tell you, it's taxing. Gotta tell you, it is. My hand gets raw. I shake so many hands. And there's some brothers who, I don't know if they lift weights or military, they grab my hand and want to squeeze it off, man. I said, brother, come on, man. I like them shoes, man.
We might to get you a pair, brother president. Brother president, we got to get you a pair.
But yeah, I want to engage as many young people. And, it doesn't matter. I talk to the older brothers, younger brothers. I talk to everybody. It's just me. Because I stand in the lineage of A. Langston Taylor. He was president number 1. I happen to be number 32. I try to present myself to the Brotherhood as if that's what A. Langston Taylor were. So that's how I approach this thing. So I thank you for what you do every day. The hard work it is being a Sigma man. It's tough. Because it's brothers are something else. Believe me, I know it.
What is the hardest part of this?
Well, having to, and this is a human thing. Human beings are political animals, and we find ways to interact with people who we feel most like us. Even within a fraternity, there's still different characteristics of people that come together, and you find ways to congregate with those that you think thinks like you, or you best feel associated with. That's just human nature, man. And sometimes our politics can get really crazy, and and then sometimes it could be easy. But none of us are exempt from the crazy stuff that goes on. It's how you handle it that truly matters, and finding ways to. I'll tell you, I got cursed out at this conclave.
Just
Yeah.
what?
And I was very cool and collective. Yeah, brother, cursed out. And I was saying, brother, come on, just cool it, And he sent me a serious apology.
Disrespect.
Through text. Yeah, disrespectful, but he realized it and he sent me an apology. And I never raised my voice, but then things go on with people. We don't know what's going on with people. So how they react to you may not be something you've done. It's something that's going on within them. And it's your responsibility to find ways to kind of calm them down. If I would have responded in the same way he responded to me, oh man, that would have been horrible. That would have been something. But you got to turn the other cheek. Good book says, right? It's hard. But when you're a leader, when you are a leader, and thousands of people could be watching, 100 people could be watching, you got to do the right thing. So leadership comes with a lot of courage, man, and a lot of understanding who you are. Self-awareness is the most critical thing you have to be a leader. If you're not self-aware, you will have a hard time dealing with leadership. Because if you don't know you don't know how you might react in certain situations. I've been trying and everything, man. You just have to find ways to find the best way to put yourself forward and have a self-respect for you as you interact with the brotherhood. Because we have brothers from all different. We are a diverse organization, economically, politically, socially, you name it. We're diverse, and I embrace everybody. They got, I do. It's just something that I do.
Inclusive.
Brother President, we thank you for your time. We're not going to